Good day, everyone, and welcome to yet another edition of DSN Classic Conversation. Today, we are excited to welcome Denison Volleyball head coach Carter Cassell to the program. Carter, how you doing so far, man? How's everything going with less than normal season so far here in the fall?
Yeah, I'm doing really well. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited. This should be pretty fun. The fall's been awesome, honestly. I know it's less than ideal, maybe. We all want to be competing during this time, but practices have been just really high energy, high focus. The team's working really hard, and we've seen a lot of improvements so far. So we're just grateful to be together and to be in the gym, just practicing. So overall, just a really positive semester so far.
That's good to hear, and I can imagine, given the success that you experienced last year, you were wanting to take that into this year and just trying to hone that into what may be the spring.
Yeah, for sure. I think we have a little momentum coming off of last season, but also understand it's every year's a new year, and takes a kind of a fresh slate and a really good work ethic to get where we want to be. But yeah, we're putting in the work now to be ready for whenever our time comes.
Well, that's good. Well, we're going to actually go back a few years prior, going to turn back the clock to October 7th, 2017, when you and the Big Red hosted Kenyon on Big Red weekend, and you battled it out in 5 sets, which ended up being one of your first big wins as a head coach after coming from Kenyon earlier in the spring, where you were an assistant for a few years. So basically now we're just going to set the stage. We're going to go to that point, October 7th, 2017. You and Kenyon kind of traded sets back and forth. Ended up being a 5th set, and you're down 9-6 at this point. At that moment, Carter, what exactly were you thinking? What was going through your head when you were talking to your team?
Honestly, I think the top thought is, wow, this is a really fun volleyball match. It was a great atmosphere, Big Red weekend. So a lot of alums were back and parents. So it's just a fun environment. It was just a really good match. It was back and forth. Nobody could really catch momentum throughout the match. So it was just really fun. I mean, those are the matches that we really like to play in and why we compete. So yeah, it's a good environment, good atmosphere, and just trying to figure out ways that we can kind of push through and pull that 5th set out.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's press play, and here we go as we go back to Big Red Weekend 2017, Denison and Kenyon.
All right, so we're in serve receive here. This is a play. We ran the gap with Alex Tubbs. Honestly, one of the highest volleyball IQs of any player I've ever coached. We knew we could have success with our tips and our off-speed offensive game, and so that's what she went with there. And she's just so efficient, and she was throughout her entire career. So that's not a uncommon occurrence for her right there. Then we regain the serve here. They go to Delaney Swanson there. One of the better players to ever come through their program. That was a rare miss for her. I think she took about 70 swings this match, which is an incredibly high number. So she's probably a little gassed towards the end of the 5th set there. We knew we had to focus on her, and that's kind of what we developed our game plan on. Awesome block once again, Alex Tubbs sticking to the game plan, showing her volleyball IQ. We know their middles like to swing across their body to 1, so we shifted over, and she got a good stuff block there.
We take this time out, but then we're right back to the court again, Carter. Tubbs coming up with a couple of big points, and now it's back at the serve.
Yeah, I think we just talked about maintaining momentum there, playing 1 point at a time. We knew it was a back and forth match, all evening. So just trying to, 1 point at a time, keep our heads in the game. Emma with a really big swing there off the block. This is honestly a breakout game for Emma, I think, in her career. She had, I think, 15 kills and hit close to 300. So a really good evening for her. This right here, kind of a broken play, but Kayla Casper makes a really good situation out of it. Good out-of-system swing to the deep corner, which is what we always stress. We want to put those balls back there in the deep corners and make the defense have to make a play. So she always steps up in big moments, and I think that's an example of that right there. Julia Miller 2-year captain for us back there serving. Once again, Emma playing big. This was her freshman year, so this was a big moment for her.
What is that like? You've just talked about 2 freshmen at the time who are now seniors on this team, and Kayla Casper and Emma Warner, and to see their progression over the last 4 years, what has that been like in your position?
Yeah, just super rewarding. I think that's one of the biggest joys of coaching is seeing the development of the student athletes, and both Kayla, Emma, and Katie Kerrigan, like they've grown so much throughout their time here. It's just been really fun to see. But yeah, Emma with a good block there. Once again, we knew the ball was going to go out to Delaney. So we didn't trap block, but we sent her middle pretty early to get a good setup there.
Now, this is going to be a position for you. You were down 3, now up 3. Out of the timeout, Kenyon gets a point right here. What are you thinking at this point, Carter, in terms of the momentum you had? Is it gone? Where's it going?
Yeah, I think we knew they'd get their points. They're a good team. We knew Delaney would get her kills, and they started to move her into the court a little bit on some what we call a rip. And so we got a good dig off that first ball, but if she gets a couple swings, she's going to score. Offense normally has the advantage, and that shot right there is actually one of her go-tos and something we tried to game plan against. But good players are better than a good game plan. So she's going to get her points, and we just have to adjust from there.
Now you're up 1. Swanson just got the last 2 points for Kenyon. What are you looking to game plan at this point in terms of when you get back on the court? What are you looking to do?
Yeah, honestly, I don't think my message was that much different to the team here. Just 1 point at a time, and we want to stay the aggressive team. I think in volleyball, like I said, it's such a game of momentum. If you let off the gas pedal, you can find yourself in not a great situation. So even though they got on a couple point run, we wanted to stay the aggressive team there. So out of this timeout, just focus in on our serve receive, give our setter a good pass and something she can run an offense out of. But yeah, just playing 1 point at a time. Our sport is a roller coaster of ups and downs and emotions and momentum. So just trying to manage all that stuff and just try to keep our heads in the game, not get too flustered and stay composed. In a game like this, honestly, whoever can stay the most composed will normally come out on top. So I think that's something we did really well here during this match. So here we do have receive, which is awesome. I mean, we always want to be in the receive position. We think we have the advantage there. A little bit of a broken play. Our tempo on the slide was not quite as quick as we would have liked it, but Alex, once again, just a smart play. Just went high wrist away down the line, knew the left back was crashing, and we were able to get a point off of that. So,
and it's good to get that point at that, when now you're on the receiving end trying to get it after serving.
Yeah. And this is row 1 for them, and probably not their best rotation just because Delaney's on the right side and not the outside. We played really good defensive rally here. And that play, once again, tipping up and over, showing some off-speed shots. After, Delaney's been working, she's taken about 70 swings. Our whole thing was we wanted her to work away from the offensive ball, so play defense. And as an off blocker, she was responsible for those tips. So Emma, with a really smart play, made her run all the way across the court and try to make a play there. So just a really heads-up play by Emma Warner.
Now we're at match point. Ball's in the hands of Casper. What are you thinking?
Yeah, honestly, probably telling our defense to get ready to move, to defend Swanson, but they give it to their other outside, Mackenzie Bruzio, who's also just a really good player. Emma makes a great one-on-one block move to slow that ball down. We get a transition opportunity, and then Katie Aucamp with a really smart swing. She's not trying to avoid the block there. She's trying to hit it on purpose, and she hits off the hands, and we take the set and the match right there.
You had a lot of youth during those final points there, Carter, really come up big. You had a sophomore in Katie Aucamp, freshman in Kayla Casper, Emma Warner, even a sophomore in Alex Tubbs. A lot of youth coming up in big moments early on in their career. What did that tell you about your team at that point and as you were continuing to move forward and even years after that?
Yeah, I think that match right there is a good example of just the fight that our program has had throughout the last couple of years. Whether things are going our way or not, we just kind of try to stay consistent and play 1 point at a time. So, yeah, definitely kind of painted a good picture for the future with some young players getting some serious experience there, and just being able to stay composed. That's huge, and that speaks to the character of those student athletes.
Would you call this a defining win for your program, Carter?
Yeah, Kurt, I would. I think just because of our composure, I think Kenyon was undefeated in conference at this point, and we were still kind of searching for that defining win for our season, and this kind of kick-started things for us. So it was definitely a big win just because we maintained a good attitude and consistent effort. And yeah, and like I said, it's just the environment, the Big Red weekend, just it always means a little bit more. So it's good to get that one and get some momentum moving forward.
Perfect. Well, Coach, I hope you enjoyed going down memory lane as much as I did. And we here at DSN wish you nothing but the best throughout the rest of the fall. And thanks for joining us, everyone. We will see you next time on DSN Classic Conversation.